All right, Shalom. We're the brothers of Great Millstone and Branch Moine. First and foremost, we would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash.
to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you brothers who are preaching the gospel of truth and sincerity, honor, and charity. And you can see the title of the lesson is entitled "In Your Lane and Trust the Process." You know, there's a younger brothers coming into this thing, which me myself is a younger brother, so I ain't speaking like I'm on some type of level. But there's brothers coming in up under me, coming in after me, and just like how it was when I was coming in, it was always a sense of you know trying to speak on something, or proving what you know, or just trying to go out of your lane, man. And it's always key to be reminded of to play our part. you know it says strong meat belong us. We can get that in the book of Hebrews 5 and 12.
This is Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 12. It says, For when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat.
Mhm.
For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness.
Right. So there's a stage when we come into this thing, man, where we're unskillful in the word. You might see Apostle Ramlab, or you might see a certain brother El Yashawamba, just throwing names out. You might see somebody do a lesson, and then you'll see a young brother trying to respond to it, and he's speaking on certain things. Might be a lesson on experience. It might be a lesson on speak what you know, or rebuking, or certain things, and then the younger brother is trying to follow after that suit, man. See, certain things is meant for certain spirits, you know. As it is written, there's a time and season for everything, man. So certain lessons or certain things is for seasoned men. Certain breakdowns, certain precepts. And what I mean by that is, you might see a certain brother might tie one precept in with another, and he knows how to link it, or he know how to apply it through his experience or through his understanding. Then you will have another brother come and try to regurgitate, or he'll try to say that same thing, and it don't sound right, because he don't have the experience, neither the understanding to link those precepts together. You know, but you got it.
It says, For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness,
I'm live right now.
for he is a babe. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
And that's key thing right there. It says they by reason of use have their senses exercised, man. So what's another word we can put there? By reason of use is what? Experience, right? So now I just simply typed in experience, right, in the search engine, and in the regular Bible, it popped up four verses for experience. First one I'm gonna read is Genesis 30 and 27. It says, "And Laban said unto him," which is the him being Jacob, it says, "I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy eyes, tarry. For I have learned by experience that Yahweh hath blessed me for thy sake." So we're using this precept to show that Laban, right, through his observation, he said he learned by experience that he was being blessed because Jacob was there with him, man. So that was through observation. That was through him being there, seeing it, and being a part of that, man. So there are things that we're not privy to. There's things that we're not a part of, that we don't have the experience of. So therefore, we cannot have the wisdom to speak on, right? I think there's a precept in Sirach. It speaks about I got it. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 3, and matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 21. It says, "Seek not out the things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength. But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence, for it is not needful for thee to see with thy eyes the things that are in secret. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, For more things are showed unto thee than men understand. And the milk itself is deep, man. That's why Peter told us to desire the sincere milk of the word that we may grow thereby. See, the world can't even comprehend the milk. When, when a person is first converted, or you teaching a person a basic of the scriptures, that's the milk that's getting. So the milk is what's powerful, man. The milk, the milk is, in my opinion, man, is the most powerful scriptures, because that milk is like how did the elders of how worded emergency kit precepts. Emergency kit precepts, man. There's certain precepts, man, that should pop in your mind when you in certain situations, when you down, when you going through certain things. There's certain precepts that should pop in your mind. Those precepts that pop in your mind are milk precepts, man. You see? So even when you've been seasoned or you've been in the faith for however long, those milk precepts never leave you. Those milk precepts is still what keeps you firm and grounded through the faith. Why? Because you've been in those milk precepts repeatedly over and over and over again. It's like Jake just now coming in. It's like you want to skip the milk stage, and you just want to go. No, see, you can't understand those other things unless you get a clear understanding or good foundation on the milk. You know, it's like when you build a house, man. You start from the foundation up. You don't start with the roof. You don't start planning the third floor, the second floor before you get the basic things done, man. So it's the same thing when we're building upon ourselves. So we have to build and make sure that we're established and rooted in the basics of the scriptures, man. You know, you want to say something? But I'm gonna keep reading back in Sirach 3, and I'm gonna read 23 again. It says, "Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are showed unto thee than men understand. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. Without eyes, thou shalt want light." That word "want" means lack. So it says, "Without eyes, thou shalt lack light." Look at that literally. If you didn't have no eyes, then look, everything will be dark, man. Meaning you're lacking light, right? Profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not. So just because you heard a brother say it in the lesson and you're able to regurgitate it, don't mean that you have the understanding of that, man. Don't mean that you have the insight to proceed to see that, you know? So we have to be mindful of staying in our lane and sticking to the basics, man. Especially as young men, especially as young brothers within this walk of ours. You know, was that in the Hebrews?
Yeah, that was it in Hebrews. But I had a quick one.
Yeah, you
If I
got
may,
it.
this is the book of First Peter chapter 2. In verse 2, it says, "As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby." Just to back up what the brother was saying, we start off in that milk, and that's what we continue to feed on and feed on and feed on. All right, until we grow into where we can have a strong meat. You know, but once again, even with that, like with a child, like a child is continually eating that meat until the parent pretty much allows them to have that meat. In the spirit, the same thing in the spirit. Like that child doesn't decide like, "Oh, I want to eat meat now." Like, nah, you get to a point in the spirit to where, like you had mentioned, I remember, you mentioned a while back, you drinking on the milk, and next thing you know, certain things that was
That's considered meat. You didn't even know it was meat.
exactly,
Why? Because you was going through the milk so much, that things that were meat,
you were able to
it seemed
understand
like
it.
milk. It clicked,
Right.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But this back in Genesis 30 and 27, it says, "And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy eyes, tarry. For I have learned by experience that Yahweh by Shem Yahushua have blessed me for thy sake." So now when you go into that word experience, it's the Hebrew word nakash, right? Nakasha, nakash. And it says to practice divination, divine, observe signs. Now, this is the point. Learn by experience, diligently observe. And that's what Laban is saying, man. He's saying he learned by experience, he diligently observed that he was being blessed for Jacob's sake. So it's the same thing within our walk of ours, man. Can you grab Sirach 34:9? because also because when you go into this word nakash, it's the same word that's used in Genesis 3rd chapter for the serpent. Now this is Genesis 3, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. Verse 4. It says, "And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die." Now the point we want to get out of here is the serpent. Now when you go into that word serpent, it's the Hebrew word nakash, right? Because he was what? He was subtle. He was wise, and it was what? It was through observation. You see, because this serpent, right, is the wicked, which is Esau Edom. Now there's a precept in Psalms where it says that matter of fact, I just get it. Salaki. This is the book of Psalm 64:6. It says they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. So going back into that Hebrew word nahash, it means to diligently observe or to learn by experience. And that's what Esau does, right? So it says they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But see, he's deep, or he's diligent in wickedness, man. On the left hand side, what did Yahweh tell us? Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. So we ought to be those serpents. We ought to be Nakash on the right hand side and learning diligently through what? Through observation. You see, through our experience. You got it up.
This is Sirach 34 and 9. A man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom.
You see that? It says a man that have traveled knoweth many things, man. So that goes into a man that's been around for a while. This is the book of Sirach 25:6. It says, much experience is the crown of old men, and the fear of the Most High is their glory, man. So it says what? It says, much experience is the crown of old men. You see that? So that starts with our apostles and our elders, man. On down, right? Go ahead. You jump back.
It says, a man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. He that hath no experience knoweth little, but he that hath traveled is full of prudence.
Boom. But it says, he that have little experience knoweth little. You see? And that's exactly, and that's us when we first come into this thing, man. Right? Because there's another precept, right? Can you hold on that? Man, it was something in my spirit. Man, I just had a precept in my mind. It left me. But I'm gonna get this. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon 8:8. It says, if a man desire much experience, right? So us first coming into this thing. So if we desire that experience, if we desire that prudence, it says what? She knoweth things of old and conjecture of right what is to come. It's the 4th chapter. Wisdom of Solomon 4. Wisdom is the gray hair unto men.
Okay.
It says, if a man desire much wisdom, she knoweth things of old and conjectureth aright what is to come. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches and can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders in the events of seasons and times. Therefore, I purpose to take her to me to live with me, knowing that she will be a counselor of good things and a comfort in cares and griefs. So, us being young men, if we desire that experience, right? We should what? Desire this wisdom. So it starts with the milk, because those milk things is what builds us up, and it's what allows us to grow in those areas, man. In order for us to have that prudence and that experience in those things, once again, going back into that Hebrew word nakash, through what? Through diligently observing, learning through what? Through our experience that we're going through. You see, you got it out.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, and verse 8. It says, for honorable age is not that which standeth in length of time, nor that is measured by number of years, but wisdom is the gray hair unto men, and an unspotted life is old age.
That's key right there, man. You see? So you might have for instance, right? You might have men who are 30 years old. He's he's considered young, right? He's still considered a young man. But that man could have came into faith when he was 14 years old, when he was 15 years old. So here it is, that man has 15 years of experience with wisdom. That means he's aged beyond his years, man. You see? So the point being is that what is wisdom is what gives us this experience. So it's us building off the milk, man. Us staying in our lane, focusing on our tasks, and growing within that. And that's what adds. That's what build. That's why the latter part of the title is trust the process. Because within that process, that's how we're getting built up, man. That's how we understand more things, you know, through our trials, through our tribulations, through correction, you know. Was it more in there?
No, that's it on that.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 5, and verse 3. It says, and I just thought at one. It says, therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with the Most High through our Lord Yahweh Shai, by whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of the glory of the Most High. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience. You see that? So the things that we go through, what from being joined unto wisdom, by being in His Word, by suffering for the Lord's sake, we're gaining that experience, man. We're gaining that once again, that diligent observation. You know, it says, and patience experience, and experience hope. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of the Most High is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which is given unto us, man. You know? So once again, when we first come into this thing, it's a desire of that sincere milk, as it is written in Isaiah the 28th chapter, man. It says, whom shall the Lord teach knowledge unto him that, yeah, you got it.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, and verse 8, or verse 9. It says, whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
Right. What did it mean when you wean a child? You know, it means the child is no longer on the breast anymore, man. But it's alluding to what? It started out on the breast. You see? So that's us desiring the sincere milk. Talking about the basics of this word. So us being studied in the basics, us teaching the basics when we first come in, that's what allows us to be weaned from that, man. You know, by continually going over those things, right? Then you move to the next stage. Go ahead.
Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
That's it. You know, so precept upon precept, and once again, it's the basic. It's the basic. You know, building blocks, man. You know, just like the things we learned when we first came in, right? Wasn't going into Second Esdras 11, the eagle, and Daniel 11. You know, the king of the north and the king of the south. It wasn't going into those things, man. It was the basic building blocks. Going into the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, how faith in those names is what's going to deliver us, man. You know, not getting lined up, or not getting tattoos, or not shaving your beard, not eating the pork, the shrimp, the lobster, the crab. Understanding that the Lord, He didn't die for the whole world like Christianity teaches, man. You know, that those Gentiles that's receiving salvation are Israelite foreigners, man, and we were once those Gentiles. You know, the basic things of the scriptures, man.
Yeah.
That's why it says that. What did Paul say, man? You want to say something?
Yeah, just to add, like the brother had put on the comment board, occupy till I come. It says, like when someone has to be weaned off drugs, it says a slow, gradual process, and that's what it is. Like this growth in wisdom. All right, it's a gradual process. All right, you continue to go over the milk, and over the milk, and then the Lord will throw you a nugget here. All right, a nugget there that you can swallow down, digest, and then you continue to build upon that, man. You know, but it's a process. All right, you ain't just jumping right into it. You know you were Israelite, and then 2 weeks later you breaking down all of Daniel the 11th chapter, and you know how. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you watching the apostles you see how they breaking certain things down and going into certain words, and you try to mimic that. You know, like no, bro. You stay. We gotta stay in our lane, man. You know, certain lessons is meant for certain men. Just like certain things that said, man. Certain things might be said within a lesson, right? It's meant for certain men. You got a brother that'll hear that and run with it, and he'll destroy himself based off something he heard in a video, man. So we have to be mindful of these things, man, of staying in our lane, man. You know. But this is the book of First Corinthians 2. I'm gonna start at 1. It says, and I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of the Most High. For I determined not to know anything among you save Yahweh HaMashiach and him crucified, man. You know, so Paul, he was a very learned man. But he said, look, I came to y'all not in this and that. I didn't boast about that. I didn't speak eloquently about this. Look, I just came to you and spoke to you about Yahweh Shai and his crucifixion, how his blood covers us, man. You know, pretty much John 3:16. You know, Jake hear that. We heard that, you know, the whole time we was in the world in Christianity. John 3:16, God so loved the world. But when we come into the faith, we understand that word world is Israel, man. That's a part of the milk, you know, that Yahweh shall die for us. Acts the 5th chapter, you know what I'm saying? The Most High raised up, you know, whom he slew on the tree to be, you know, to be a prince and a savior, to give repentance to Israel. That's a part of the milk, man. You know, and constantly, once again, constantly going over those things, man, going over those things, you know. Not trying to be too deep, not trying to do all that, like it says in Sirach. Search not out the things that's too hard for deep. You know that we read earlier. So just being mindful of these things, man. You know, because what one brother might do don't mean that you can do that same thing. You know, once again, a brother might bring out a certain precept, he might tie it in a certain way, and he has the understanding, he has the experience to apply it, and it makes sense. And you hear it and be like, damn, you wooed on it. And then you go and try to regurgitate it, and it don't make no sense in how you said it, man. Why? Because you ain't got the understanding, neither the experience to back that up. So now you just made a fool out of yourself trying to replicate or trying to repeat what you heard this man say, man, or what you seen this man do. It's like a 2-year-old trying to do what his 9-year-old brother doing. The 9-year-old know what he doing, but the 2-year-old try to repeat it. He just looking at him, bro, what is you doing? And it's the same thing. A 9-year-old can't do what a 15-year-old do. You know, a 15-year-old can't do what a 30-year-old do. So it's the same thing, man. Just being mindful, man. Just being mindful. But that's all I have for the spirit, bro. If you got anything else.
Nah, that's it. That's it.
You know, so just quick and straight to the point, man. Lord will, we hope this is edifying. Thawadi Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah, for giving us spirit to do this lesson. We'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel and truth and the sincerity of the charity. Shalom.